Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. You watching High Tide Jet. Ride the tide and subscribe today. New settings on the Sony ZV-1F. First thing I changed was the shutter speed. I had it on auto, now I have it at 61/60 because I'm using 30 frames per second. I went with 30 frames per second for vlogging because I like to do a lot of walk and talk and it captures more frames per second. So it's just a lot smoother. The shutter speed at 160 is supposed to double the amount of your frame rate. So since I'm at 30 frames per second, now I'm at 160, 1/60. On the shutter speed, when you have it on auto, yes, it's good for light. When your lighting changes, it automatically does what it has to do. But at the end of the day, it's just choppier. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a lot smoother when you do it like this. Also, I changed the settings in my Rode Wireless Go 2. Have it at -9 dB on the Rode Wireless Go 2, and I have the setting at 9 on the Sony ZV-1F. Another thing I did wrong was I was exporting the Final Cut file as 30 frames per second when I was using 24 frames per second in my first vlog. That was another mistake I made. So I need to make sure to upload this and export this as 30 frames per second so it can just look as smooth as possible. I also have auto stabilization turned on in the Sony ZV-1F. Even though I was not a fan of it, it does help, especially with the gimbal. I'm just trying to get the smoothest possible footage I possibly can. Like I said, this is a $500 camera. I know $500, it is a lot of money, but compared to other cameras and the quality you can get for a brand new camera in 2023, you're gonna spend almost double the amount. So for this to be $500, that's pretty good. The lens is wider than the Sony ZV-1, and the ZV-1 stabilization might be a little better in the camera, but I do think you still need a gimbal. I don't own the ZV-1, I never owned the ZV-1. But based on the videos I've seen, it looks like you're still gonna need a gimbal. The gimbal's good for walk and talk, B-roll, stuff like that. The camera size of the Sony ZV-1 is great if you take it off the gimbal and you have the stabilization turned on. Like if you're just standing still, like if you wanna walk in the mall with your camera, I'm pretty sure I'll get kicked out of the mall if I walked in with the gimbal and everything. But like, if I'm just like, hey, I want to take my camera in the mall, get a couple shots, not necessarily doing like the walk and talk type stuff, this camera's good, you know? You can take the camera off the gimbal and just walk around with it. I don't think that'll be that big of a deal. There's smartphones bigger than this camera because it is weird. Like, people act weird when you walk. Like if I walked around with this gimbal, let me show you. Let me show you how my setup looks like. It looks a little crazy. But this is more like outdoors. Let me show you right here. That looks kind of crazy. I have this extension. It's like a tripod where you could take it off. But, you know, I like having it on because I get to go without it, you know. Do I recommend this setup? I think I'm starting to fall in love with the setup. The footage is looking smoother. Got the Rode Wireless Go 2. Probably gonna buy a lavalier mic so it's not so out there. It's a little more discreet. I like wearing like a crossbody bag because I just put it on there rather than drag my collar all the way down because this has a little bit of weight to it. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys an update on my vlogging setup. Let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of the reviews on the ZV-1F on YouTube, this is a bunch of haters. They just don't know what they're doing. You're gonna have to put a little bit of money towards making it better. I like the Rode Wireless Go 2. I got the transmitter and the single mic, costs about $200. I got the gimbal, cost close to $200. I think it was like $180. But that's it. And then the camera itself. But at the end of the day, buttery smooth footage. If you're gonna post every day, I don't know if you're gonna post every other day. Either way, make it worth the money. Post. People want content, just push it out. I make other type of content, but I always wanted to vlog. I always wanted to just talk crap, not put too much time into editing the video, but just put stuff out there because time is flying, especially the older you get, time goes by quicker, man. So, but yeah, put content out there. My neighbor was showing up and, well, it's my backyard back there, but he was being all nosy, so I had to go into the kitchen. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the quality. Did you buy the Sony ZV-1F? Or did you not? Are you thinking about getting the Sony ZV-1F? I know I'm not outside doing anything cool with the camera because I'm on the clock right now working. I recommend the camera, but like I said, you're gonna have to buy these little add-ons. Oh, also have the screen flipped out to see yourself, because especially if you're using the gimbal, it gets kind of heavy and you don't even realize that you're like dropping the camera. So the viewfinder just reminds you to be like, hey, get it together. Even though, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've noticed, there's a lot of times where I look at the viewfinder and not look at the lens. So that's something I need to work on. Anyways, I'm gonna holla at y'all in a little bit. I got some stuff I wanna do, and I would like to test the camera in a handheld situation in an area that is discreet, like a mall, you know, where I can just pull it out, pause, and record without the gimbal, because that was one of the main reasons I wanted to buy this camera, to be discreet. I saw how small it was. Vlogging, you want to be able to go anywhere with the camera. That's why action cameras are popular, but the quality just isn't there for me. Also, I'm recording in 1080p because 4K is a nightmare to edit unless I find a different way to go about it. My computer's not fast enough. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna holla at y'all.